Welcome to this week's episode of Star Watch, which is a weekly astrological transit report for Wednesday, January 25th. Annie says hello. She just came in from the outside. Say hi, Annie. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you for being here. For those of you who are new, my name is Jane. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. And this week we have kind of a nice week ahead of us. I don't see anything that I'm specifically concerned about. We have Venus coming into Pisces. I think that's one of the bigger transits that we'll feel. We have the moon is waxing. Now, she's not going to be full, okay, until next week. We'll talk more about the full moon in Leo, which is happening February 5th. But she is waxing nonetheless. So we do have that increased energy going on. And then that's pretty much it, really. We'll talk a little bit about Jupiter and Chiron, and then we'll kind of go from there, okay? So first and foremost, Venus is coming into her sign of exaltation. Now, Pisces is a little bit weird, right? Because it has a lot to do with the pleasures of the bed, sleeping, sexuality, imagination. There's a lot of isolation that happens here, a lot of loss and sacrifice, Pisces rules prisons, hospitals, psychological institutions, that kind of thing. And so that desire, which Venus definitely brings out a lot of desire, the desire to be at home, be away from the world, disconnect, hopefully not disassociate, but maybe for some of you, yes, but to really pull away and allow things to kind of pass you by. That is a strong tendency here. Now that can be good and that can be not so good. If you have actual responsibilities and obligations, it's still important that you continue to fulfill those. But you also are going to need to take rest, take breaks. If you're in a relationship, Venus coming into Pisces can be beautiful for spending time alone together. You can be at home, you can make love, you can watch your favorite shows, cook amazing meals, just do the really domestic. Or you can go out in nature, right? Go for hikes, go to the lake. But I do think aloneness with a couple is going to be really special for those of you who can really actualize that. If you're not in a couple and maybe you're just kind of casually dating someone or nobody at all, regardless of where you are, I do think aloneness and alone time, hermit mode, is going to be important for your healing. Remember, a lot of spiritual healing also comes through with Pisces. So anything that makes you feel good, that really allows your soul to flourish and feel fulfilled, those types of things are going to need to be prioritized if you have not been prioritizing them, or if you have not been, even giving even the slightest bit of attention to them. I know there might be a tendency for some to feel lonely. If you are someone who wants to have a relationship and you don't have one, this could be a time where you do feel a little bit of that despairing quality of like, oh my gosh, no one is coming. I don't know where this all that kind of stuff. Now, if that does start to creep up, I would highly recommend connecting with friends, right? Connecting with people that make you laugh, people you can go out with, but be careful of overindulgence here, especially when it comes to alcohol. Be very, very careful of what it is you are consuming. Also in terms of shows, like if you are staying in and binging Netflix or something, make sure that you are binging wholesome, positive, really, really good content. I would stay away from things that are very dark or violent. Just simply because this is highly receptive energy. And because Pisces is so connected with our more spiritual or our ethereal realm, we're trying not to do any damage mentally, physically, psychologically, whatever the case may be, to that kind of unseen aspect of ourselves. We want to make sure that we are building ourselves up. We're putting ourselves in highly optimistic situations. We are associating with people that make us feel good. This is also a time where people may struggle with having boundaries. So if there is someone trying to creep back up into your world, whether it's a romantic partner or a family member or whatever the case may be, you are going to have to find that strength somehow to really set firm that boundary. Now, Pisces is about boundlessness. And when we have that one-on-one connection with Venus, two people and that lack of boundary system between the two. Now, it doesn't mean that there are no boundaries at all, okay? It just means you have to be extra conscious about setting them, okay? And you have to try a little bit harder. Now, Pisces is also very merciful and compassionate and forgiving. This is one of the reasons why Pisces people who have strong Pisces present in their natal chart, it's why they tend to keep going back to people, or they keep giving people second chances, because they are so capable and so willing of destroying the past, forgiving the past, letting go of the past for the sake of a potentially incredible future. Okay? Pisces is traditionally ruled by Jupiter. So we do have that really Jupiterian, go big, go as high as you can, fall in love, do the best things that you possibly can do, even if sometimes it's a dumb decision. All right? Because we know, like, we've all been there where we have given someone a second chance and it was like the dumbest thing we've ever done. Like, why did we give that person a second chance when we knew that this is who they were, type of thing? Okay, so a lot of things coming up for Pisces, Venus through Pisces. Financially, of course, Venus is deeply and intrinsically connected with money. Now, again, Jupiter is also connected with money as well. Jupiter is the rulership. So be careful of your spending. I think Venus through Pisces is very spendy. They're more than willing to send that money out, whether or not that money is coming in. So if you struggle with being intelligent or being smart about your spending habits, this may be a time where you're going to have to put a little extra emphasis on, kind of only buying what you need, not from a scarcity mindset, but from a I don't want to overspend type of mindset, right? I don't want to buy things that I don't genuinely need, or I don't want to buy things that help me be more productive, right? That's really where you should be going with this. If you have something that you want to buy, ask yourself, does this help me become better at my talent or my skill or my job or my relationship? Does this help me improve something in my life? Or is this something that I'm just visually seeing with my senses and I have a desire for it and that's all that's going on? If it's just a desire, but there's no purpose for the desired item, walk away. You can deal more with that when Venus comes into Taurus later on in the next couple of months, okay? You can deal more with like the actual possessiveness. The reason is because Jupiter can get out of control sometimes. And if you don't have that self-awareness, sometimes you can put yourself in a dire strait. But that's really only for people who struggle with that. Annie's back. She is back for this reading. She is all for it today. So yes, just something to consider there. Now, Venus is, of course, coming off of her conjunction with Saturn. So she's definitely finding a little bit more air and room to breathe. Now, I never minded that Venus-Saturn conjunction. I like it for recommitting, promising to yourself, really putting yourself in a position where you're like, okay, this is something that I want that needs to change. So I'm committing to this, whether it's committing to a new behavior or a new habit or something along those lines. But it can get very loose in Pisces. So sometimes this can be like, okay, you have these convictions, you set the tone, you promise, you commit. But then, a week and a half, 2 weeks later, Venus is in Pisces and you forget all about it. So you have to kind of remember the promises that you made to yourself, and if you made promises to anybody else as well. The good news is that Mercury over here is still in Saturn-ruled Capricorn. So he's going to help us keep it very tight. He's going to help us where Venus in Pisces can be really loosey-goosey. This is going to kind of help to set that boundary. Now, if you have to communicate boundaries with someone, this Mercury in Capricorn and Mars in Gemini is highly advantageous for that. So you probably are going to be a lot better at asserting yourself if you do struggle with that. Not everybody does, but a lot of people do struggle with asserting yourself and really laying down that line. This is all needs to come from an extraordinary, I'll use that word, sense of self-worth. So if someone is trying to come at you or get into your space and you really don't want them there, this is really about respecting yourself enough to actually say, hey, get out. Get out of my space. Get out of my world. Get out of my DMs. I don't want you here. Okay. Now, again, not everyone is going to have to deal with that, but if you do, you are astrologically supported to do that, so long as that forgiveness, mercy, compassion, second chance doesn't get in the way. I'm not saying no one deserves a second chance. Some people do, but you're going to have to make that discernment. Are they really going to change, or are they really different? If you kind of come up with like a no, they're not, then it's time for you to move on, okay? We also have this moon now waxing coming into her full moon position on February 5th. Again, I'll talk more about this next week. And if you are a member of my Soul Seekers group, I'll go very in deep on this full moon, as I have been in the next week or so. So keep your eyes open for that. Also, Soul Seekers, just FYI, I will be posting the Venus in Pisces video as well. So we'll go much deeper into that, into detail there. Moon is waxing, so we do have that kind of upswing of energy. There may have been, especially the past couple of days with the moon being in Pisces, it may have been a little bit more sleepy or not massive amounts of energy. And even with the moon a few days before that, when it was in Aquarius, this is not always the best place for the moon, Capricorn and Aquarius, and then it immediately hits Pisces. So now that it's coming into Aries today, you're definitely going to be feeling like, okay, I can do this. I have the energy. I have the focus. I have the determination. Let's just really go at it, go into it. Let's get the work done. And I think as the moon continues to cycle through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, you'll start to feel more like yourself. We also have Jupiter at 4 degrees, Chiron at 12 degrees. Now, this is a very slow conjunction that is happening. And again, for my Soul Seekers, I did talk about Jupiter coming into Aries. So if you want to log in there and take a look at that video, I talk all about Chiron. But Jupiter is technically 8 degrees away, which means it is technically in conjunction. So it's a very weak conjunction, but it is going to continue week after week after week for the next month to come into this connection with Chiron. So we are going to start to experience things through other people, because remember, Libra is going to be involved here because it's opposite. Also Capricorn and Cancer as well. So family members, partnerships, romantic or professional, whatever it is. Also things going on in our career. Now that's pretty much sums up many, many areas of your life, right? Career, family, relationships. Those are 3 massive, heavy hitting departments of your life that are all potentially involved. What's happening with this conjunction is that we are having a magnification of our trauma, a magnification of our pain. This is not to hurt you, it is to heal you. Jupiter is not here to mess up your world, okay? He's not. That's not his job. That's like Saturn's business. That's Pluto's business, all right? Even Neptune is a lot more destructive than Jupiter, all right? Jupiter is here to provide blessings, to provide abundance, to provide the really, really, really good things in life. But Chiron is getting in his way. So what Jupiter needs to do is he needs to expose those wounds and those pains so that they stop being a problem. Okay, because he doesn't want these problems. He doesn't want to be in this state of insecurity or imposter syndrome, or to feel not worthy, or to feel like you can't, or to feel like you don't respect yourself enough, or whatever the case is. Jupiter is not like that. He's like, why are you bringing down the party with all of that stuff? He's not here to invalidate it. Okay, we're not invalidating those experiences in your life, but we are, right? We are going through a time where it's like we can't be there anymore. We can't be in that space. We can't operate from that pain anymore. So as Jupiter comes closer and closer, starting this week with this official 8-degree difference, right? 4 + 8 is 12, right? This official 8-degree difference, we're going to start to feel that. And opportunities to heal this stuff is going to come from all the big areas of your life. Your spouses, your business partnerships, everyone who is involved with you professionally, and your family members. So this is going to come from all over the place, or from one of these places. So don't be surprised if you start having, conversations with people, or you start having a circumstance or an issue or a problem arise. It's not to create problems. It is here to help fix the problems. Please do not misconstrue. Please do not misinterpret. All right? We are here astrologically in this particular position. Right now, we're on that precipice of becoming a different person. The person that is not buried under our pain, that is not completely hindered by our traumas, who doesn't anchor themselves to the past, but rather someone who looks forward, who looks to the future, who looks toward the healing and the goodness and the abundance that is available. And we had opportunities the past several months with this North Node Uranus conjunction. Now, this is officially like coming out of that conjunction situation, right? Uranus is starting to speed up. It's moving direct now as of the 22nd. We have Mars speeding up as well. Mercury is definitely speeding up. So all these planets moving direct now say it's time for your life to go forward. And those who can fully embrace it are going to have probably some really great things happen to them. Really great people enter into their lives. Now, again, Venus is still kind of putting us in that more private world place, but I like it because there's a lot of belief that happens with Pisces, where we can believe that things are possible. We can dream big dreams. We can shoot for the stars here. And so if we're shooting for the stars and we are healing and getting over a lot of our stuff. Now, again, I'm not trying to say, like, some people have really, really hard stuff, okay? Everything from abuse to complete loss and betrayal and all sorts of things. I'm not trying to trivialize any of that. I'm not saying, oh, just get over it. Not what I'm saying, okay? But this is a choice point. And every once in a while, the astrology is going to put, well, every single day really, but sometimes it's stronger than others. And right now we are at this choice point. And between now and April, we have an opportunity to make a choice to move forward with our lives or to continue to stay anchored to our past. Plain and simple. With Pluto coming into Aquarius, we're getting a taste of what life will look like in our future, but we're not fully going in, all right? But we're getting an indication. And I think that's enough for most of us to say, all right, I want to go forward. I don't want to go backwards. And Mars in Gemini definitely does not want to be backward. In fact, actually, I'm looking at the stocks. I'm like, none of these planets are in a nostalgic place, except for maybe this North Node in Taurus, which is having a hard time really budging. But other than that, none of these planets are in like a nostalgic, well, Mercury will be moving in pretty soon. But in terms of like the main events or the main characters right now, they're all in movement-oriented placements, future-focused placements, becoming the best type of person you can be type of placements, Jupiter and Aries specifically. And I think that's what we all feel to some degree determined to be. Okay, so it's a good week. Again, like I say, Venus coming into Pisces, you have to be really, really self-aware. And this is a time for some people to practice that self-discipline, because the self-discipline is going to kind of want to go out the window a little bit, because she's not disciplined in Pisces at all. There are no rules. There are no regulations. She can kind of lounge about. She doesn't have to like work here. This is not a working sign. So she's just kind of, enjoying her time, but it doesn't mean you can completely ignore all the other aspects of your life. Okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Have a great week. You guys know I love and adore you, and I will talk to you very soon. Take care.